Just giggling. Hello. Welcome to another Rena and Cynthia Discuss on our channel, Ascending Community of Light. I'm Rena.
I'm Cynthia.
And we are two best friends who have started this amazing channel to bring light and love and information in a high vibe way to the world. And we have about 120 years of experience between the two of us. So we thought we knew a little something and could share it. And today we have a really fun topic that we're going to discuss that almost nobody knows about. So I'm really excited to share that with you. And before I do though, Cynthia, why don't you let the audience know how they can get a hold of us in our other platforms?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Rena. So glad to always have these discussions with you. They're so much fun. Well, we have several other platforms. So we have a Telegram channel. So you can go into Telegram, look for Ascending Community of Light. That's our Telegram channel. And please do comment on that channel. And it's just wonderful. We're trying to post all kinds of interesting information about what's going on in the world in more of in a futuristic way, kind of possibilities that we can look forward to. And we also have a Facebook business page, which is the Ascending Community of Light. So facebook.com/Ascending Community of Light. And then we have,
I think, .org.
.org. Oh, thank you. Yeah. And then we have the group page, which you can go under facebook.com/groups. And it's a different name. It's /High Vibe Frequency Tribe.
Because we are a high vibe frequency tribe here, aren't we?
We are. And that was our original name. And it's morphed a little bit with time. So we're embracing the Ascending Community of Light. So join us there. Oh, and of course, our most important is our website, which is ascendingcommunityoflight.org. And you can go in there and you can see we have an introductory course that we've started, and we have blogs, and just look around in there and see what interesting information you can find. So
yes, we're updating that all the time.
Yeah.
So we're just so excited to start sharing this, and we're pretty new channel as far as everything goes. And we're growing. So we would love your support and your likes and your shares and whatever we need to do on YouTube and any other place to grow us. So we appreciate your support in that way.
Yes,
with that said,
you.
There is this thing called the Schumann Resonance. And before you and I started talking, Cynthia, I had never heard of that. And then we started hearing about it on the channel, and a few channels were like referencing it, and there were these really cool charts, and I couldn't read them. I didn't know anything about them. So today I wanted to deep dive into that Schumann Resonance, at least for a little bit. And I know that you have been researching it and studying it. So I'm hoping that we can just kind of do one of these discussions where I kind of ask you some questions, and then you can give us your academic expertise that you're so good at.
Oh, Rena. Thanks. Well, the Schumann Resonance. So what is it? If you were to look it up in the dictionary or go into Wikipedia, you're going to find a really long definition that, I don't know about you, but for me, it was really hard to read, and it was very scientific. Of course, it has to be accurate, but it was really way over my head scientifically. So I found some other references, and we want to draw attention to this wonderful website. And it is, you go to noc.galacticage.org. And that's a group of people who are working to actually track the Schumann resonance, and they're tracking our actual brain waves. They're tracking human consciousness is really what they're tracking on a worldwide level. So it's a really interesting site, and we want to give them full credit. Okay.
I just pulled it up for the audience to see, Cynthia.
Perfect.
I'll just scroll down a little bit. So keep going.
Yeah. So it starts off here, as you can see, very generally talking about the Schumann resonance. And we've been posting a little bit on our Telegram channel about the Schumann resonance. And So just to look at this without going into just, tons of scientific explanation, you can see here, so 7.8 hertz is the main frequency that the earth resonates at. This is sort of like the pulse, the heartbeat of the earth. And we've typically been in a very low frequency of 7.8 hertz. And this chart here is explaining that when you see this diagram out, and this is the observatory station in Russia, I believe it was right there in Tomsk, Russia, I think. Rena,
Yes.
you can
Yes.
go down a little bit. Yeah. So when we have a chart like this, you can see this white blurb here. You go, wow, what's that? Well, if you look, the green is sort of the normal range we're expecting the Earth's resonance to be at. And the blue is low intensity, not much activity. And when you see a white burst like this means that the Earth is resonating at a higher intensity. And so, and this gives them at the bottom, so you can see the hertz are along the left side, and then you have a timestamp. It's usually done by the day, and these are taken several times each day. And this gives the time of day, and of course 13 would be 1 p.m., for example, and so forth. And you can see here this burst. And so this is what's really interesting. So if we come down a little bit, Rena, if you'll come down a little bit about the Schumann resonance. So what we found with the Schumann resonance, okay, so it's the heartbeat of Mother Earth. It is, to explain it a little bit simpler, well, here it explains it actually. I was going to say this. There's a cavity between the Earth, the surface of the Earth, and the ionosphere. And so in this cavity, about every second, it says here, there's 1,000 lightning flashes that occur around the Earth. In every second, 1,000 lightning flashes. And these lightning flashes harmonize around the Earth. And it sends like this electrical field around the Earth in a harmonious kind of way. And this electromagnetic energy signal goes to all living beings on the Earth. So if you think about it, it's a way for the Earth to invigorate itself with light. It's a way that the Earth receives sheer energy from these lightning flashes, as well as other things. And these signals create a marriage or a coupling with us. So we're the beings on the surface of the Earth. There's all this activity going on electromagnetically, and we are attuned to that, as all living beings are, plants and animals and humans.
So it says here, human beings vibrate. Yes, that means you. And the frequency they emit ranges from 5 to 10 hertz. We are in the same range as the 7.83 hertz of the Earth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So humans are tuned to the resonant vibration of the Earth. Let's just talk about that for a second. I'm going to stop sharing so we can get back to us and what we.
Yes, so this goes back to the whole idea that everything is energy and energy, right? Everything is energy. Everything is consciousness and energy. And that we are in tune with the Earth, whether we're conscious of it actually or not. So we're in tune with what the Earth is doing. And everybody's had days where it seems like we're all going crazy and we're running around, or we're maybe tense or nervous or excitable or whatever. And then other days where we feel peaceful and calm. So if you look at the Schumann resonance, human behavior is closely tied to that. And that's
some
something
people
that
say it's the full moon. So what does the full moon have to do with this? Do you think that they work in conjunction, or is this something totally different, or what do you think about that?
Well, that's a really good question about the moon, and we can do a whole video on the moon because it's really, I would say that the moon acting upon the Earth is not separate. We're all part of a system, and of a huge, large ecosystem, right? An atmospheric system. But I would say that the moon's influence on the Earth is something completely separate. Okay. That's what I think. So.
But this resonance is like, it really is that there are studies that are showing that the Schumann resonance frequencies do have an effect on the human brain and the human nervous system, right? As well as the cardiovascular system and the circadian rhythms and everything else.
Yeah, and everything to do with, how we are as beings on this living planet. So we are responding in every way to the Earth's resonance. That would include our circadian rhythms, like you just mentioned, our sleep cycles, our immune function, our DNA. I mean, we're completely connected. So this is something that, we should all be thinking about and learning about. I didn't learn any of this in school. This came to me much later.
Who does?
Yeah, who learns
Until
all
we
this stuff,
start
right?
imagining and recreating the educational system, I would say. I don't think any high school graduate can be able to talk in these terms.
Yeah, that's really true. We have to really unlearn a lot of things that we've learned, and we have to learn new things. Think outside the box, think outside the matrix. We've got to do that. So human brain waves.
Let's go back to this. They have a really good picture here. So let me go back to this.
Okay.
Just to show this picture on this page, because it's excellent. See if I can make it a little bigger. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm trying to see what you're pulling up there. So
it's the gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta picture of the brainwaves.
Okay. Yeah. So when we look at the delta brainwaves and we look at theta and alpha, beta, gamma, we can see the delta waves are the lowest. And
that's we're in our deep sleep. When I would work with people in hypnosis, we were getting them down into their theta, and sometimes they'd go into their delta to do their hypnosis.
Can you come down a little bit on the screen there? The delta brainwaves are 0 hertz to 4 hertz, and you can see that. That's the deep healing sleep. It's dreamless sleep or unconscious. It's associated with being really drowsy. So this is the lowest brainwave we have is the delta. So the theta brainwave is more in the realm of where the Schumann resonance usually falls, around 7.83 hertz. That's 4 hertz to 8. And that's, that's associated in theta. We're drowsy. It's the first stage of sleep, or we're in a deep meditation. We go into the theta. So we can kind of imagine that that's really, really syncing with the earth. We're really syncing when we're in that theta brainwave. But as we were going to speak about, the Schumann resonance now has been going up and down a lot. And we've been going into really high Schumann resonance frequencies. And we're moving now more regularly. We're doing what would be, corresponding to our alpha brain waves, 8 hertz to 12 hertz. This is, linked to creativity, mental work, and it's associated with being in a learning stage. I would say your mind and body are coordinated and you're learning in the alpha brainwaves. And then we go even to higher brainwaves. The beta brainwaves correspond to the Schumann resonance of 14 to 26 hertz. And in the beta brainwave state, we are actively processing things, and we're moving into higher and higher states of consciousness and being awake and aware. So beta brainwaves are even higher. And the highest brainwaves we have here are the gamma brainwaves, and that goes from 30 to 100 hertz. And in that state, we are very actively processing information, but we're also, we can be in a state of stress or a high state of sort of, it can be agitation even. It can be a really high state of awareness, and you're looking around and you're not sure, and fight or flight. That can be actually in the gamma brainwave state.
Yeah, it says here, both brain hemispheres are being used.
Yeah.
So interesting. Whales and dolphins also operate at these frequencies.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting. But what's exciting for us now, if we go, maybe take it off of this, would you mind taking it off of the, So as we're moving into these higher states, we're noticing that the human being is trying to match or entrain with where the earth is. And there's been a lot of activity since 2012. And of late, the Schumann resonance has gone from 30, 40, 50, 60, even over 100 hertz. And people are saying, what is happening? But as we see that, our whole consciousness, the whole planet is being raised. We're moving into a higher states of awareness and consciousness. And
So
so
besides moving into, let's talk about this a little bit biologically, because I know in our community, we get people, we talk about that the earth is going through an ascension process and we are awakening and we are ascending. And, a lot of people don't really understand what that means. But as you and I were discussing this, I started getting it more and more that as the earth is, if these Schumann resonances are increasing as they are, and we are connected biologically, of course, to it, then that would be part of our ascension, our biological ascension process.
absolutely.
Right? Because there is someone who said something really good, and they said, I forget who it is, but they said, I'm not ascending without my body. Like the whole thing is my body, that would be just dying, right? The whole thing is that my body's coming with me. That's the whole point of it, is that we're consciously ascending, but we're also biologically ascending at the same time. So this has a big key to play, and I think it's just fascinating.
It is, and I think that nobody, like you said, very few people are really talking about it. But when you and I got on board and looked at the Schumann resonance, and as it was going crazy and really high in certain days and times, we were thinking, what in the world is happening? Well, it's the ascension process. The earth is moving and we are entrained with it. We are in sync with the earth. We are all one, really, after all. And so as it moves into these higher frequencies, we are moving with it. And it is affecting our brain waves. And some people have said, including some higher sources that I like to follow, including Spirit, have said to me, well, as we're moving higher and higher, we are moving on to the gamma timeline. And I'm thinking, I heard gamma timeline, and I thought, what's the gamma timeline? Well, the gamma timeline is a timeline where we are all living in that higher frequency state between 30 hertz and 100 hertz. So we are actually moving into a higher level of frequency and consciousness, period. Let's say there's no stopping that. The earth is doing it. And we can talk about, different reasons why. And I do at some point want to do a video on the Photon Belt, which is a region of space, and all the scientists know we're entering it, and NASA and all the rest. This is a place in the universe where our solar system, or our galaxy actually, is moving into this space-time, which will be of a higher vibratory frequency. And it's a huge band that's on an elliptical orbit. It's sort of or actually it's like in place. And I have a picture of it that's really interesting. If you want to do a screen share,
let's do it quickly, because I want to stay.
And this is from exopolitics.org.
Okay, I'm going to make you, hold on, I'm going to make you.
Okay.
You can share.
So
can you share screen now?
Okay. Let me see if I can share screen now. Hold on. So we're moving into this place, and let me see, share screen. Okay. All right. Okay, can we see that now?
Just about.
Okay. So
there it is.
Different people, including Elena Danon's contact, Thor Han, he talks about we are now, our solar system, as you can see here, here's our solar system, here's our galaxy, Alcyon is the center, we are actually moving into this massively large belt of photonic electromagnetic high frequency energy. It's this large belt, and it's going to greatly impact everything in third density. And I think this is the part of the ascension process that people don't talk about, but I was very excited when Michael Salla brought this up. So in 2014, scientists confirmed that our solar system was about to enter a large interstellar cloud called the local fluff, which is approximately 30 light years wide and held together by a very large magnetic field. So this photon belt, it's been described by many, many people, and there have been, books written about it. It's an interstellar cloud, was first observed in 1961.
Wow.
And so we are entering this, and it's changing everything.
So how does that relate then to the Schumann? Do you think that entering this photon belt is also part of what is causing the Schumann resonance to increase on our Earth?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's where the connection goes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we here on Earth are feeling it in our bodies, like we just discussed. And what does that have to do with the brain waves? Now, I know that in that article, there is also some more connection with just the whole resonance of our bodies. Is there more that we can say on that?
Yeah, well, it's like, imagine going into a dust cloud or a storm or a hurricane, and you have to, as you go into it, you have to adapt to it, right?
Right.
You have to just adapt. You have to get your, your jackets on, your hood. You've got to take care of your ears, maybe cover your eyes. You have to adapt to whatever environment you're in. So here, the Earth and our solar system and our entire galaxy, of course, is moving into this. So we all have to adapt to this higher frequency of photon light. And it was interesting, as I heard Michael Salla speaking, he was talking about how if there have been civilizations that have gone into this photon belt and they were not advanced enough to survive it.
They couldn't handle the higher frequencies.
They couldn't handle the
light.
higher frequencies. And what happened to those civilizations? They were eliminated.
Yeah.
They imploded upon themselves.
Right, they would have to. Yeah.
So what happened, of course, is, as energy is constant and never destroyed, you can't destroy a being. They probably incarnated somewhere else. They were of too low of a frequency to make it through this. So I think this is one of the major reasons why all of the galactics have said to us, we've got to raise our frequency and our vibration. And they said, I don't know if many have said it's a matter of life and death, but really it is. We have to raise our frequency, our vibration, in order to weather through this. Because as we enter this, it's going to take us 2,000 years to cross it.
Wow.
And we must adapt to the space we're moving through. And so this is all a part of ascension. And the Schumann resonance, I think, is very much reflecting this, although there are many other factors in the Schumann resonance.
Yeah.
For example,
this video is on the Schumann, so yeah.
So it's on lightning, and it's and also people say that it's the sum total of human consciousness is what's affecting, the Schumann resonance. So as human beings become more aware, raise their vibration, raise their consciousness, raise their frequency, that of course affects the world and affects the whole heartbeat of Mother Earth. The Earth is affected by us. We are affected by her. It's very much
it's amazing synchronicity. Can we come back to our picture of the two of us?
Yep.
Yeah, it's this is just so fascinating. And I think for the audience of wanting to first hear about what is a Schumann, I've never heard of it before, or I've just kind of heard of it and I don't know what it is. So this is quite the little educational, see, I told you, you have so much you have so much to share. And and I always learn so much from you when we talk. And but this is really good. And the other thing I was thinking about is, we've heard so much about ascension symptoms, and there's we have to, besides all that's going on in the world, with the different illnesses, there's also symptoms. And I think it's really valid where we might feel dizzy. I've talked to 3 people now who are telling me that just this last week they were really dizzy, including myself. So
including me.
including you, 3 other people. We might feel dizzy. We might feel a little nauseous. We might just feel tired and need to get some extra sleep.
Mhm.
So I think it's just important to reiterate that we need to really look at our bodies, love our bodies, honor our bodies, breathe into our bodies, connect with them as much as we can, listen to what they need. And if they need more water, if they need more sleep, whatever it happens to be, just really tune into our body. The more we can connect with our body, the easier this process will be, and love it through it, not just be mad at it for not performing because you want it to right now, but really find this connection. And
That's really important. What you're saying is so important. And it's true, because we can no more control us moving into the photon belt and we can stop the sun from shining. We have to adapt. We have to adapt to these new energies. And as we know, all around us, the world is really dismantling. I mean, the matrix is coming down. We're seeing changes in everything at every single level. And I think this is all a part of that big picture. It's a part of the Schumann, it's a part of the photon belt. It's moving into a new place. And it's really uncharted territory for humans.
It is. The whole idea is mind blowing. Like you say, who has been taught this in school? But also you and I, as a partnership, we're really bringing this to the world and bringing this knowledge. And as hard as it is to look outside, and as easy as it is to get all mad about what we perceive to be something that is not necessary, and putting all of us through this hardship. On the other side of the hardship, when we replace it and it's dismantled, we're creating. And so this is important. I'm really glad we brought this today. But this is important that we are starting to plant the seeds so that we are learning how we as a community and a collective can create together in this new higher energy, higher frequency world that we are imagining. And so that's another important point, to keep our attitude focused, and which is why we have our support channels and our courses and everything. So
right. And I think that, again, remember that as we learn about quantum physics, that the observer is actually affecting physical reality. So I think that is so important right now, as we hear all this stuff around us going on, and it's a difficult time for humanity. Let's look forward to creating that new place, because we're moving into it, whether we consciously know it or not. We are going to be in a new world. And so we need to consciously become aware to that, awake. We need to move into those possibilities. And just
together,
knowing a little bit about that. Yeah.
As a collective, together.
As a collective, we have to do it together. And as a human species, we need to just be more aware and sort of relax and breathe into that and move into those higher frequencies. And like you said, honor your body, honor the water you need, the rest you need. Rest is really important, because the human body is recalibrating right now. We are recalibrating to higher frequencies and moving into an entirely different structure, as we understand, right?
Yeah.
So it's really important. So the Schumann Resonance, thanks for listening today. This is just a little piece of the pie. And I think Rena and I like to bring pieces of the pie to you so we can begin to collectively and individually understand what's going on. So there's a reason for this madness.
Yes, there is. And
there's a reason.
It's going to be beautiful on the other side.
It's going to be
It
beautiful.
already is, if you look at it with that cup half full.
Yes.
We will have the website linked in the description,
Mhm.
as well as some of our other links. And we thank you so much for listening. And
Yeah. Thanks for joining
yeah.
us today, and share and like and subscribe to our channel. And we're so glad you're here.
All right. Well, until another discussion, we'll see you later.
Okay. Have a high vibe day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.